Ladies and gentlemen, in this video I'm going to irrefutably prove to everyone that sees this, that goes and follows this link that I'm about to give you, that targeted individuals are victims of ongoing crimes against humanity that are really indescribable and unspeakable. And if you don't believe what we're saying, then you're really not going to be able to comprehend most of it. Let me tell you that this thing goes back from childhood. For me, I'm a childhood victim of this satanic ritual abuse, this monarch mind control programming, remote rape, remote child molestation, dream manipulation, fear and trauma-based mind control tactics, gaslighting, slandering, traumatizing the child from a distance to, dissociate from them from reality, to split their minds so that they can be programmed and used later on in life. Right? You can look up the Illuminati formula to create an undetectable total mind control slave. It's a free PDF. You can get it right now and learn how they used to do this and still do this to children and grown adults, as well as teenagers worldwide. And the link I'm going to give to you right now is a collection of videos that get straight to the point, that are government whistleblowers and other targeted individual victims that have come forward, mostly government whistleblowers, that have irrefutably called out and proved these things are going on for the general public. Now, these are not things that you're going to see on your news media normally, but a lot of the videos in there are on the news media. So that link is tinyurl.com/proof4TIs. Let me say it again, tinyurl.com/proof4TIs. And that is going to irrefutably prove what I'm going to tell you in this video. But many of us have been targeted from childhood on. They say that they target very intelligent people, open-minded individuals, or people with individual personality types, specific personalities. I notice that they go after intuitive people, empathic people, open-minded people, truthers, truth seekers, what they call dissidents, those that, they see as a threat to the establishment, because the establishment and the systems of this world are based off of and rely on lies, deception, manipulation, blackmail, bribery, corruption, devilry, fraud, and straight up mind control. So that is why we are a threat to the establishment. Everything rests upon their deception and their systems of manipulation and control. And it tells us this in the Bible. It says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, wickedness, the rulers of this dark world." The wickedness in heavenly places, spiritual wickedness, right? And now that's non-human, and that is above the human. So yeah, some people think this sounds crazy, but then you start looking into, we're multidimensional beings. Reality has more dimensions to it. We're basically in a matrix right now because our material senses, are deceiving us. We are the type of people that can think outside the box, and we're spiritual, and we comprehend these things. But a lot of people on this planet, especially the ones that, call us conspiracy theorists and stuff like that, these people have the personalities where they rely mostly on their senses, if not completely their senses, and, what has been logically proven to be true to them. So we are, my personality type, and I'm going off of Myers-Briggs, is ENFP. A lot of these people they have N in their personality type. And that is the intuitive aspect of our personality. You're either intuitive or you are a sensor, where you go off your senses. So you go off your intuition mostly, or you go off of your material senses mostly. Now if you go off your intuition, some say your intuition, that's like the Holy Spirit of God. That's God in you. That's your conscience. That's above and beyond the material senses. So many people are just trapped, and they're only thinking, there's no God. They're only thinking that their body and their brain is all they are. They're just humans having a spiritual experience when they're actually spiritual having a human experience. Right? So mind over matter, but spirit over mind. If you do the research and you look into the Bible, it says that God is spiritual, that everything essentially came from the same source, the same spiritual light, the same pure energy, the same divine God, or the unfathomable, undescribable being that we call God. So spirit over mind over matter. Now let me just cut through all this stuff and tell you, that I just told you all that stuff just so you can comprehend if you're not the type of person that thinks like we do. So you can comprehend what we're going through. Now I want to tell you what they're doing. Edward Snowden came forward and exposed, he blew the whistle on technological spying. On the NSA and government agencies hacking into your phone, hacking into your cameras, hacking into your smart TVs, right? Or just having direct access to them. And being able to listen through your microphones and watch through your cameras and get into all your files and do all kinds of crazy stuff that you never think they could do, right? So we know that satellites can, see through your house now, or they have a virtual reality that overlays this reality. Now a lot of this, this stuff about chemtrails and the nanotechnology, the nanoparticulates that they're spraying in the air, these metals, it's said that, this is to help with their virtual reality. They're creating a matrix over this life. This enables them to go anywhere in this virtual reality. It's basically if you made a virtual reality of this life, and let's say your friend's at a bar down the street, and you want to digitally go to that bar without having to move your actual legs and your actual body, you go into this virtual reality. But this isn't some virtual reality with a headset, where you're just seeing and hearing with the screen and the speakers. This is your brain has a headset and you are jacked in like it's the Matrix, and now you are in this virtual reality experiencing it with your senses. Now what have they done with this technology? They have been torturing, raping, molesting, mind control programming, running gaslighting, psychological operations, taking advantage of, and human trafficking, terrorism, treason, high treason, other crimes against humanity, against all of these target individuals and the multiple millions every second of every day worldwide for all these years. They have countered intelligence. They have dislabeled us mentally ill, or terrorists, or criminals on a watch list, whatever they have to say about us, to cover up their crimes, or to mislead the general public and our government into believing that we are not what we say we are, and they are not what they say they are, or they are what they say they are. That's what I really mean. So what they're doing is they're hiding behind levels of classification, and we already know the world's controlled and run by evil. Come on, guys. We know the government, United States, isn't actually, the corporation that they use. Right? The government is of the people, by the people, for the people. Right? And these individuals are traitor, terrorist, enemy threats to us all. A lot of these individuals are Satanists, Masons, Luciferians, and secret societies. Right? They call themselves the Illuminati. They call themselves, the club. Right? So, call them what you want to call them. They're scumbags and they're criminals of the worst kind, and they're assaulting all of us every single day and gaslighting us, which is where they run psychological operations, where they do things to you that are not normal around you in public. They'll do street theater, they'll stalk you around, what's called gang stalking, to get you to look and sound crazy and tell people the things that you experience, so that way you get locked up in a mental hospital, and that's all they got to do to discredit you. So they did this to all the target individuals. They ran gaslighting operations, psychological operations, unlawfully, just like the FBI's COINTELPRO. And I do believe that it is FBI. It's InfraGard and Lockheed Martin And all these same individuals that have been shut down before in the past by the church committee for committing these crimes against humanity. So, they gaslight all the victims, okay? And they end up going to a mental hospital, getting dislabeled with mental illness, so that way, you know, if they call the police, they call the military, they call government, they call FBI, they call CIA, they call DOD, they call DHS, they call the marshals, no matter who they call, they will look into their history and see that they have a mental illness on their medical record. So, with that being said, this exposes mass fraud, medical malpractice, human trafficking, kidnapping, forced, incarceration in mental hospitals against our will when it's fraud in the first place, when they negligent and do not investigate these ongoing crimes, or they're aware of these ongoing crimes and what they actually are. It's money laundering, because they're taking all that money from the insurance company and laundering it right into their pockets. It is treason and high treason and misprision of treason, because they're giving aid and comfort to our enemies, failing to inform the proper authorities of these actively ongoing crimes against us. It is terrorism, because they are terrorists. And they are using weapons of mass destruction. These brain technologies that enable them to go even into our dreams in a simulated environment and torture us, rape us, molest us, assault us, traumatize us, hypnotize us, program us, you name it, from any distance with their technology. These crimes have ere few been proven to be going on, and CIA agents have come forward, FBI agents have come forward, NSA agents have come forward, Department of Defense agents have come forward, private security contractors come forward, and thousands, if not millions, of targeted individual victims have come forward every single day, more and more, giving their testimonies and saying the same exact things have happened to them very often from childhood on. So, I myself was molested as a child. They messed with me, they used fear and trauma, they put fear into me, they tormented me, they traumatized me, they made me scared of my own freaking shadow. Right? They set me up as a kid. Set me up to be taken out of my house and put into a hospital for children, where they proceeded to continue this operation, this satanic ritual abuse, this fear and trauma-based mind control, this monarch programming, monarch mind control operation to, split, fracture my mind and program me, or attempt to program me, with what's called dissociative identity disorder or multiple personality disorder, or with, this menticide, this mind control programming, trying to turn me into their little Manchurian candidate. I am the real deal. So are all these victims, but I'm coming forward ere few to be proving these things to you all, hopefully on a worldwide scale at some point, and this needs to be investigated. These individuals that have been hiding behind classifications and their National Security Act and Patriot Act and whatever they're hiding behind are proven fact some of the biggest enemy, traitor, terrorist threats, not just to every individual on this planet, but to every government and every sovereign nation on this planet. And that's not just because they're framing the FBI, the NSA, the military, and various aspects of our government for these crimes that they're continuing on by telling the victims that that's who they are. It's because they now have the ability, because they researched and developed since before Operation Paperclip, where they brought all the Nazi scientists over here to do these mind control experiments after they already did them in the concentration camps, which they don't tell you about at school, to research and develop these mind control techniques and these brain technologies. These technologies that allow them to go even into your sleep, as I've said, and do anything they want to you. Right? So they are getting away with an unspeakable, uncountable amount of crimes on a daily basis. They are molesting and raping children and women every second of every minute of every hour of every day of every week of every month of every year that this continues on. We have irrefutably proven these things to be true. And anyone that attacks us and tries to support and fuel the narrative that we are mentally ill, schizophrenic, terrorists, traitors, criminals, or anything else like drug addicts, whatever they can come up with, that these counterintelligence agents that actually do run these counterintelligence operations have already gotten caught doing. Anybody that attempts to counterintelligence from now on, or lie and deceive the people, or tamper with our testimonies, is now irrefutably proven traitor, enemy, threats, terrorists to us all. You are complicit in these crimes against humanity, and these are capital and federal crimes. And for those of you that don't know, capital crimes get you capital punishment. And capital punishment is life in prison or the death penalty, execution. So yes, there's plenty motives for these individuals to counterintelligence, to deceive, to gaslight, to slander, to frame us, to get us to kill ourselves, because there are an uncountable amount of suicides that have been caused or forced by these perpetrators committing these crimes. Now, me being a childhood victim of being molested, being traumatized, being abused, being set up to be taken out of my house. Now, why would they want to molest a little boy? Well, some of them are probably gay. But other than that, they didn't just molest me, guys. What they do is they go into kids' heads, and maybe you have children, you've seen your children do this. You know, they'll start outbursting and shouting out loud and making noises and doing weird shit out of nowhere, right? Now, I do believe now that this is a way for them to pace and lead, to, sensitize or program, condition your kids, or children in general, to get used to acting on impulse, to being impulsive. And I myself was a very overly impulsive child, and I was dislabeled or labeled with mental illness like ADHD, OCD, post-traumatic stress disorder, bipolar disorder, disruptive behavior disorder, oppositional defiant disorder. Oh man, they had so many damn things to label me with, so they can pump me full of drugs from like 6 years old on, guys. They got all these labels to cover, to counterintelligence, and deceive us away from the real truth about us being targeted and victimized, assaulted, and our kids being targeted, victimized, and assaulted every day. You ready? So let me tell you, this impulse stuff, let me tell you how they took advantage of little girls in my life with this impulse stuff. You ready? And now I have a 15-year-old sister that's doing this impulse stuff right now. Not the stuff I'm going to tell you right now, obviously. But just, shouting out loud and doing these loud impulse things. Because I used to do that in class when I was a kid. When I was a young kid, I was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old doing it. Even as a teenager, I'd be tapping my foot and doing all this weird ADHD stuff. Alright, and let me tell you what they did to me as a child. See, they would have me act on impulse. They would have me do sexual things to myself. I'd be watching TV shows, and they would have me thinking pervertedly in my head. They'd have me, take apart electronics to try to put them back together. They would tell me to do bad things in my head. I have a piece of paper from a doctor that I went to, a therapist, when I was 6 years and 8 months old, that said, voices in my head tell me to do bad things. There's a good voice and a bad voice. Right? So, you can do the research. Last time I checked, schizophrenia doesn't happen in a 6-year-old's life. Right? 6-year-old children don't have schizophrenia. Right? It just doesn't happen from what I know. Right? And we know that this isn't a mental illness. These are actual beings. We'll just call them that because I don't think they deserve to be called people. These are actual beings doing heinous devilry, unspeakably despicable, disgusting, sadistic things on a daily basis to people. Okay, so let me tell you what they did, guys, because this gets a little hazy. So if there's a child around, please get them out of the room. But once they got me into this hospital, it was fair game for them. They could do whatever they wanted to me because the staff members don't know anything. So pretty much day one of me in there, there's this little 12-year-old girl. I'm like 8 years old, right? Or 9 years old, and they got this little girl to out of nowhere just start flashing. Right? So this is one of the things they do. They get your kids to act on impulse, to outburst and say all these stupid things out loud and make all these noises and scream and shout and yell and joke around and do all this stuff. But, then all of a sudden, they'll give them the impulse to start flashing other kids their age, flashing their private parts and engaging in sexual activity. And yeah, this may be considered somewhat normal. But what isn't normal is that there are pedophiles and rapists and scumbags with brain technology engaging with your children from a distance, sensually, in these activities that they caused. So this is how pedophiles and rapists are getting away with molesting and raping children, women, and men from a distance, including celebrities that they traffic. Right? That have multiple personality disorder, this dissociative identity disorder, these alters. Let me tell you a little bit thing about these alters. Let me tell you why they do this mind control program and this fear and trauma and satanic ritual abuse. Alright? This fear and trauma and satanic ritual abuse causes the child, and they like to attack children because children are easier to traumatize. This is what they need to do to program them. They need fear and trauma and satanic ritual abuse to get the child to dissociate from reality. Now, what is dissociating from reality? It's when you can't handle it anymore, so you withdraw and you go inside yourself and you block it all out. You shut down. Now, when they get you to do this enough, eventually they split or fracture your mind. They call it splitting the mind, fracturing the mind. Now, it's kind of like a broken mirror where they're fracturing you off, right? They have a symbolism for that. But I'm not going to get into that right now. It's a better example of what I can use, an analogy, is like partitioning off a hard drive on a computer. Let's say you got Windows 10 on your computer, and you want to save a little bit of space off, you want to partition a new hard drive off, a new part of your hard drive off, and install Windows XP again, right? Now, these two operating systems are completely independent from one another. You load up into one operating system, and they can program it so that way you can't even see that there's another operating system. So they're programming another identity, an alter personality into your subconscious mind that you are unaware of. Now, if you go to tinyurl.com/proof4TIs, you will see a video. And on that video, you'll see the cover photo for that video is a list of sentences. And it says in the description, this is how they rape this woman over and over. This is the programming that they do from a distance this irrefutably shows you, it proves to you, step by step, how they use this brain technology and how they use their neurolinguistic programming and conversational hypnosis techniques and their biocommunication technologies, these voice of God weapons, this synthetic telepathy, to program, not just talk, it's not just voices in the heads, it's hypnotic mind control programming to slowly possess every individual with menticide and, like I said, conversational hypnosis and neurolinguistic programming. This is mind control programming. They are doing all of this other stuff to put fear into you, to traumatize you, to fracture your mind. Because once they fracture your mind, that is the split, that is the other partition in that hard drive. That is where they're able to now program you with another identity. Because they can't do that unless they do that. And that video that I posted on that link, in that collection of videos for TIs, irrefutably proves and shows you step by step how they do this, and shows you that this woman has been assaulted, that she has been programmed with an altered identity named Lyra. Alright, so go look at that. Every single thing I'm telling you in this video, no matter how crazy it may sound, and believe me, 10 years ago I wouldn't have believed this stuff. But now that I know that it's real, now that I've experienced it and I've talked with an uncountable amount of other victims, and they've said the same kinds of things, now we know irrefutably. Now that these whistleblowers and these government agencies, some of them who were involved in these operations against us, have come forward and spilled the beans, and they themselves have become targeted, victimized by these things. Right? They work for the government, guys. They don't have a history of mental illness. It's not a debate. It's not a speculation. It's not an argument. We're telling you these things are going on. Right? So this video could potentially be one of the most powerful videos on this planet because, let me explain, because it connects with all the intelligence, all the victim testimonies, all the victims themselves, all the ongoing crimes, all the connections, the people involved in these ongoing crimes, all the way up the chain of command, all the way up to the classified levels, hiding behind these national security acts and all this shit. Let me tell you guys, it's only a matter of time, because this is all part of their plan to take over our government and get their one world government, their one world order. They have been framing the FBI, the CIA, the Department of Defense, the military, and other, the NSA, and other powerful aspects of our government for these ongoing crimes. And the United Nations international courts have already investigated and taken these things very seriously, and have some of the targeted individuals in witness protection already, waiting to take down our government. That's what I believe. They're going to come in and take down our compromised government, and there's going to be nobody to protect us, because the United Nations themselves is a Trojan horse threat to national and international security, because it's controlled by our enemies, just like the government, or the aspects of government that are compromised now. It is just a peaceful, deceptive, unlawful, unconstitutional transfer of power from our governments, our sovereign nations, and our people to these United Nations globalist, elitist, Satanist, Luciferian, one world order, eugenicist criminals. Alright? That's what's going on. So everything is all connected. They control the WHO. And they're trying to force this vaccine. Right? Everything is very complicated, and everything is connected. It's all happening all at the same time. So if you people are pointing your fingers at people saying, oh, you conspiracy theorists, oh, these are conspiracy theories, we don't want to hear your mumbo-jumbo bullshit. Well, guess what? You're going to die, or you're going to get totally enslaved. No exaggeration. Ignorance is only bliss until it's your total enslavement, possession, or your death sentence. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, all you want, but the evil is all around you. And if you want to be complicit in these evils, then other people are going to perceive you as somewhat evil. There's a quote that says, the world won't be destroyed by evil, it'll be destroyed by those who watch it and do nothing. And that includes all of you people out there that have listened to me and all these other targeted individuals, giving our testimonies, making these videos, giving our statements, and have laughed at us and ridiculed us and not taken us seriously all these years. It is time for you to finally accept the truth that these things are real and they're very serious. And if we don't get the majority or enough people to accept these things and do the research, investigate it, and force our governments to do their job before the United Nations comes and takes their jobs and probably their lives for all these ongoing crimes. These are capital and federal crimes, guys. This is terrorism, international terrorism. It's genocide, mass murder, forcing people to commit suicide. It's tampering with evidence. It's tampering with the victims. It's tampering with the testimony. It's compromising our governments. It is preventing us from getting justice. It's preventing us from becoming federal witnesses for the FBI and the U.S. Marshals. It is deceiving our governments. It is deceiving our police. It is using various aspects of our governments, our police, our healthcare industry to give them aid and comfort and help them to get away with these crimes and counter the intelligence or reduce the intelligence or to deceive and manipulate the thoughts, beliefs, and perspectives of everyone on this planet. To perceive us as not what we are. Victims! Victims of unspeakable crimes against humanity, of pure wickedness, of devilry. Alright? We have to go on pretending like nothing's going on. We have to have normal conversations with everybody. We have to live double lives because up until now, hopefully it's going to change, you wouldn't believe us. You wouldn't do anything. People could lose their kids. They get thrown in mental hospitals. Look at all the celebrities that came forward. Right? I have a playlist on YouTube that has almost 700 videos from 700 different celebrities, 700 different songs, saying voices in my head, talking about how they have voices in their head, how they're battling demons in their head, you name it. These are all famous people, guys. These are people that you perceive to be perfectly fine and normal. Right? So this is very real. This is not a debate. This is not a speculation. This is not an argument. I am telling you, I am blowing the whistle myself. I am a whistleblower. I am a victim. I am a witness. I should be a protected, classified, confidential informant. You know, I'm not a snitch, guys. I'm trying to save you. I'm trying to save America, or help to. I'm trying to save the children on this planet. I was a victim myself from childhood on. They took me out of my house. They put me in a hospital for 2 years. They tormented me. They traumatized me. They molested me and other kids in that hospital from a distance and got away with it. Then they put me in group homes. And then they forced my grandmother to adopt me. Or they would have kept doing it to me. My grandmother had to fight for my life to adopt me. And then they targeted me throughout my teenage years. They spread rumors about me in my school. They messed with other kids' heads. It didn't make any sense how all these weird things could happen and trouble could follow me around and all these rumors that are such nonsense could be spread about me. Why do they do that? Because they want to isolate the target. They want them to be alienated from everyone else. They want them to be perceived as mentally ill, mentally challenged, weird, a threat, whatever they can do to have you all to themselves and basically just keep on drilling you and taking your life from you. Right? And they use us as a means to program other people. Like I said, they use neurolinguistic programming and conversational hypnosis. They talk in it and they make it sound like they're just talking, like they're just accusing you of stuff, like they're just, narrating your thoughts from a distance, which is what they do. They have access to our thoughts. Mine changed my inner voice, and there's a lot of other targeted individuals that can back me up here. They changed my inner voice to be so annoying, it's not my inner voice. And they have an artificial intelligence automatically talking in their annoying ass voices over my voice, talking to myself in real time. And I hear them talking manually. So, a mental illness does not do that, guys. And like I said, get the mental illness thing out of your heads. We have irrefutably proven and have been backed up by our own government, by doctors, and by other victims. We are not mentally ill. We are perfectly sane, and if anything, you are all mentally ill if you do not listen to what we're saying and do the research. Try to learn what you need to learn so you can defend yourself and your families and your people. So you can help to wake up our government and empower them with all the evidence and testimonies that they need to bypass this compromised chain of command and these levels of classifications that shouldn't be classified in the first place, that they hide behind to get away with these crimes. So we can finally bring these criminals down and serve justice for all the victims, especially those that have been dealing with this their entire lives. Right? So these individuals screwed with my life, screwed with a lot of people's lives. The evidence is overwhelming. It literally is. There's more evidence than you could possibly look at in all of your lifetime. Please listen to what I'm saying and go to that link, tinyurl.com/proof4TIs. Go to facebook.com/goopeneyes, facebook.com/SOS2all, facebook.com/the national threat, facebook.com/international threat. And if you're a part of the government, go to facebook.com/group/upchain. If you want to take your intelligence to the next level and bypass the what I call duality mentality and all this monarch mind control programming that you have, go to facebook.com/multivalent intelligence and facebook.com/liberational intelligence. Now that you know, beyond any reasonable doubt, a shadow of a doubt, and hopefully you do at this point, or you really need to smarten up and think for yourselves. But now that you guys know that this is the real deal, now you can go see how I spent several years developing those pages and putting posts on there and exposing these things for our government, for all the people on this planet. And now you can see how real it is and how important it is and how valuable it is, how powerful it is, and how vital it is that we all work together to complete that mission. Shout out to all you TIs out there. If it wasn't for you, I'd probably be dead. Thank you. Good luck to you all. I'm here for you. Please leave a comment if you can. Please back this all up. Please share. Or please, download this video and, remove the unnecessary parts, shrink it down, and re-upload. Whatever you guys got to do. Send this to the news media. Send it to the government. Send it to the U.S. Marshals. Send it to everyone you can so these scumbags that have been using these people, using our government, and hiding behind them and hiding behind us can finally be tracked down wherever they are. Now, I don't know if they're using satellites to direct the sound and to access our brainwaves, but I do believe they're using satellites. So, if we can bypass the National Security Act and the Patriot Act, or, whatever they're hiding behind here unlawfully, criminally, fraudulently, then maybe we can actually find them via satellite or wherever they are, by their signal, and make worldwide examples of them. And so if you guys can find me covertly, if you're in the NSA, if you're in DARPA, you're in any of these, already compromised government agencies, and you want to save America, probably your own lives, be heroes, you can find out my real identity. You can find out where I am, and from a distance, without bothering me, without ruining my life, without trying to, take me in or whatever, you can try to track where the signal is coming from, where they are located, and then go in with the Special Forces, the Secret Service, the U.S. Marshals, Delta Forces, whoever you got to go in there with, and take them down. And once you do that with me, you can repeat that with every single group of perpetrator criminals, these secret societies and these Masons and these, intelligence agencies and these private security companies, whatever they're in. You can track them all down worldwide and execute them or throw them in jail for life and get them to spill the beans on all their connections, going all the way up the satanic chain of command to get every scumbag, elite, globalist, parasite scum on this planet and rid our planet from evil once and for all. That's what I'm hoping we can do. Hoping we can end all wars, end all lies, end all deceptions, end all devilry, or as much as we can, by getting it all out in the open, and by, not following their rigged rules, not listening to the compromised orders from the compromised chain of command controlled by our enemies, not giving aid and comfort, which is committing treason and high treason to those enemies working for them. Right, let's bypass all these classifications levels. Let's recognize that we're not a bunch of little kids, that our lives are on the line, and that this is a real war going on, that our country's at stake, our families are at stake, our eternal lives are at stake. Right? Your souls are at stake. This is devilry going on. They want total enslavement, and they want to depopulate anyone who's going to get in their way. So, take it very seriously. It's the real deal. Thank you for watching, guys. Help us do whatever we got to do to save the world. Be heroes. Real heroes. Now, you could be like the fools that sit there and ridicule us and talk shit and feel insecure and think that, this is all a bunch of bullshit. And probably burn in hell with it. Lose your lives. Get totally enslaved and possessed. Or killed. Right? Or you can smarten up. You can think for yourself. And you can be a hero with the rest of us. Join your people, your real people, with real loyalty. Your real family. And take down these enemies to us all. These threats to us all can unify all races, all beings that are, friendly against this common enemy, against these common threats, to all individuals, to all races, and to all sovereign nations or governments on this planet right now. This is the highest priority intelligence that has been gathered in our government right now. These are the highest priority threats to national and international security. United Nations needs to be stopped immediately from taking more power and control over our sovereign nations by doing what our governments are supposed to do on their own. You have sworn an oath, if you are in our government, to uphold that oath, to serve and protect us from all threats, foreign and domestic. Now, it's misprision of treason for anybody that has watched this video and fails to inform the proper authorities of the ongoing terrorism, treason, high treason, the compromisation, and the threat to us all. The plethora of threats to us all that are, without a doubt, irrefutably proven and exposed for years now on those groups and pages and in those posts that I just gave you. So go back, write it down, check it out. This is the real deal. I actually have more power and authority than the government right now. I have more power and authority than the president, than the Pope, than the Queen, than the Illuminati itself. Because I have just exposed every single one of them. Go down the rabbit hole, guys, and you'll see that this video is nothing in comparison to everything that I just gave you. In all those groups, in all those pages, in all those posts. You all now have more power than all the governments, than the devil himself. Good luck. God bless you all.